y'all, welcome back to Adventuring with Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. It is a cold and gloomy and very rainy day here in the Arizona desert, and I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to do my 2023 recap for the year. Now, my original goal was to stay in Arizona this year because I wanted to save money, keep the miles off the van, especially because the last 3 years during the summer, I did a cross-country solo road trip with Winston. So I stuck to my plan and I did stay in Arizona this year, but I visited a lot of new places. So in this recap video, I'm going to talk about the new places I visited, not about the places that I typically visit. These are new places that I visited for the first time in 2023. And at the end, I will share my favorite. So in the description, I will also put videos of each of the spots. So if you're interested in seeing more and learning more about that area, you can check out the videos. And we are going to dive right in. So make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to try and do this recap by chronological order, starting at the beginning of the year toward the end of the year. And I have my handy dandy notebook here so I don't forget any of the places. But starting in, I believe it was February, because January was a busy month out in Quartzsite. In February, I headed down to Mittry Lake, which is near Yuma, Arizona. So that is south of Quartzsite. And of course, I really like camping by the water, and there are actually a lot more lakes in Arizona than most people know about. But Mittry Lake is very popular because it is BLM land, so you can camp there for 14 days for free. Now, I loved Mittry Lake. I visited there with my travel partner, Maddie Van Halen. So we went down there and we found a camp spot right on the lake. It was so awesome. Now, the thing about Mittry Lake is it is big rig friendly in some areas, but the spot that Maddie and I stayed in, you would never be able to get a big rig in there or even a trailer. Since we're both in small vans, the spot that we found was like really on a steep hill. We were able to drive down, and there wasn't a lot of space to move around in that spot, but we were right on the water. It's one of the reasons I really love having a minivan. I can fit in spaces that big rigs and trailers cannot fit. So Mittry Lake was fantastic. It does get pretty busy, and if you want a private spot, you're most likely to find one if you're in a small van. So Mittry Lake was awesome, but it can get pretty crowded depending on the time of year. And you might not be able to find a spot, especially if you want solitude. The next place was, and I wanted to go down to like the Tucson area more this year, and we did that. We stayed at the Ironwood National Monument BLM land outside of Marana, and it's fantastic. Very big rig friendly, excellent for boondocking, about 25 minutes away from town. Good cell service, beautiful scenery. It is close to Saguaro National Park, beautiful views of Picacho Peak. And if you want to go into Tucson, do things in the area, it's not too far of a drive. I really enjoyed my time at Ironwood National Monument, and I can't wait to go back. That's a place that I could go back to several times and really never get bored of it, especially because there is so much land. There's really not a shortage of space, even if you're looking for solitude. Next was Alamo Lake. So we visited Alamo Lake in March, and Alamo Lake is literally out in the middle of nothing. It would take about an hour and a half to even get to the closest Walmart. It's located between Parker, Wickenburg, and Wickiup, like north of Siloam. It's a super odd location, but I really wanted to visit, and I'm so glad that I did. You have to be set up for boondocking if you visit Alamo Lake, unless you stay at the nearby RV park or Alamo Lake State Park. There is a ton of BLM land over in the Alamo Lake area. It's very popular for off-road vehicles, and there is plenty of big rig friendly land up there. But if you want to stay right on the lake, which of course I did, that's why we visited, spots are very few and far between. And if you're in a big rig, it's unlikely you'll be able to find a spot. Typically they're taken. But again, similar to Mitri Lake, Maddie and I have small vans, so we were able to find a tremendous spot right on the water that was on a steep hill. But since our vans are, they fit like in this narrow, on this narrow hill, we were able to use levelers and have a very comfortable campsite. The mosquitoes were not bad. It was March, so it was gorgeous weather. There were a lot of spiders in the area, so if you're not into spiders, don't know if I'd recommend it. But again, having a small rig on Alamo Lake is best case scenario. The spot that we were camped on, there's no way in heck you'd be able to get a trailer or a big RV down there. So I do recommend the area. Cell service is iffy. Like if you need to work full time, probably not going to work out. I think I had like 2 bars of service the whole time, but I loved Alamo Lake. It was a blast. But like I said, make sure you come prepared with plenty of food and power and water, because there's nothing nearby. And in fact, the closest city is called Nothing. So just to give you a better idea. Next on my list, we stayed at Robbins Butte BLM in Buckeye, Arizona. Now, what's nice about this location is it's super close to amenities, 10 to 15 minutes. There are quite a few camp spots. The only issue is a lot of people tend to trash it because it is so close to civilization, and there's a lot of shooting that happens in the area. So sometimes it's really great to stay there. Sometimes it's really bad to stay there. People also tend to get stuck because it can be very sandy and extremely muddy if the area gets rain. So very hit or miss. And my house is only like 20 minutes away, so that's really nice. But again, sometimes you show up and there's just trash everywhere and people are shooting and being irresponsible. And other times that we visited, it's been wonderfully peaceful. So just kind of depends, I guess. You get lucky, sometimes you don't. We visited Williams, Arizona for the first time. Williams is an awesome touristy historic town. Lots to do there, so much fun, very dog friendly, some fantastic shopping and restaurants, and there is a lot of national forest camping nearby. The cell service is slim to none, so if you visit, I recommend having Starlink or not needing service, because there are 2 lakes in the Williams area, like south of Williams, and they're beautiful, but you will have 0 cell service. So be prepared for that if you plan on visiting that area. But I recommend, if you are in that area, checking out Bearizona, because it's a drive-through wildlife park, and I took Winston there and it was fantastic. We got to see so many really cool animals. So highly recommend Williams, and you can just head north from Williams to the Grand Canyon if that's something that interests you. We also stayed in Belmont for the first time, and Belmont is between Flagstaff and Williams. Now, Williams is only like a 35-minute drive from Flagstaff. Belmont is like 15 minutes. So it is also national forest, and plenty of space, really. I really like that spot because the cell service is a little bit better than Williams, and it is so close to Flagstaff. So you can go to the amenities, go shopping in Flagstaff, do all that, and then go back to Belmont. It is on the I-40 heading west of Flagstaff toward Williams. So we stayed there for the first time, and it's great. Lots of different options over there. So those were the new places in Arizona that I camped in 2023. And I'd say by far my favorite trip was to Alamo Lake. We just got so lucky with our spot right on the water. The weather was gorgeous. There weren't any mosquitoes. The cell service was decent enough for, a 5 to 6 day trip for us. And I really look forward to returning. I'm confident that I could find another spot on the water simply because my van is so small. And I'd like to do that with Mitri Lake again too. But I always look at the weather to see when it's going to be nice. And I try and go not during a holiday weekend, kind of during the off season rather than peak season. And all of those areas really worked out nicely this year. I'm not really sure what 2024 has in store yet. I have some tentative plans, but I'm just not really sure what it's going to look like. I'm not a big planner, so I'm just going to go where the wind takes me. I hope that you enjoyed this video and maybe got some ideas for your upcoming van life travels. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.